Hi, Mike Feibus here. Welcome to Digital Health Live at CES. Today, as part of our Executive Insight series, we're very fortunate to have with us Marc Leibowitz. Marc is Global Head of Technology at Johnson & Johnson. Marc, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Now, Global Head of Technology at one of the largest digital health companies in the world, that's a lot of ground to cover. So maybe why don't we try and divide it into inside healthcare facilities and then outside the walls. Which of those two do you think is more fertile ground for Johnson & Johnson and the industry for that matter?
Yeah, it's a great question. The way we are thinking about it is how do we help reimagine the way that healthcare is delivered, managed, and experienced, and whether that is within the walls of the existing healthcare ecosystem or beyond that is we're sort of agnostic as between those two. Really, we start with what are the unmet set of needs of patients, providers, and their extended care networks, and how do we build technology-based solutions to better serve those unmet needs.
Right. And, sort of outside the walls, I think, folks hear about connected devices and they already think about, okay, I get it. I know how many steps I'm taking. Mm-hmm. There's so much more to be offered in terms of insight and understanding what's really happening and then giving advice. I assume you've got some initiatives in that area as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think the observation that you just made is an important one, which is if you actually go out and talk to people about what their experience is with things like fitness trackers, and you hear the same thing when you talk to people about in-home monitoring devices, Internet of Things type things that throw off lots of data and information, is I don't necessarily want more data and information. I want something actionable and useful that makes my life easier and better, whether it's enabling a better interaction between the care provider and the patient, or helping a well individual remain healthy and incorporating some of the behavioral modification or behavioral change type expertise that we have at J&J.
Right. The digital transformation is such a green field, and I like to say I see a lot of pivots and sprints. Mm-hmm. Pivots by established folks like Johnson & Johnson and sprints by the startups. Mm-hmm. And so there's advantages and disadvantages to both, obviously. But what would you rather be? I mean, I know you have a little bit of a vested interest. Why would you rather be? What are the advantages and disadvantages that you see?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. It's something that I wrestled with before coming on board to J&J. I mean, my background is primarily in early stage technology companies, albeit not in life sciences or healthcare. And I've been fortunate enough to be part of companies that scaled pretty significantly from very small companies like a Dropbox or a Google. J&J already operates at global scale. And what we're trying to do is the opposite, which is sort of capture some of the agility and nimbleness and speed that typifies an early stage company and bring that to bear in a much larger enterprise. And so having the operating history that J&J has of understanding all of those things and knowing what has come before us in terms of what works and what doesn't, I think is hugely valuable.
Yeah, for sure. Now, J&J is pretty active at the Digital Health Summit. You'll be on a panel with Teladoc and Nokia.
That's right.
Talking about some of these issues.
And we certainly have a lot of great ideas, but let's bring those to market so we can materially improve the lives of the people that rely on J&J.
Yeah, and it sounds like that's very much what your panel will be about. I hope so. Yeah, I hope so too. I think. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Marc, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Again, my pleasure. I really appreciate the opportunity and look forward to seeing you in a month or so.
Likewise, and thanks to all of you for joining us. We'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye.